Good evening, good morning or good afternoon from wherever you are around the world, and welcome to Czechia for the 6th round of the championship here on the Crest Autosport in alliance with NXTGEN Racing Euro TCR Championship on RaceRoom. Proudly sponsored by Lovely Stickers, Powered Max Racing, Trek Racer, Fastar, 603 Autosport and Joyce Design. Tonight, as we mentioned, we are at the circuit of Brno, recently released by RaceRoom in the past few weeks. Brand new track to these drivers and to this sim in the southern eastern region of Czechia, formerly known as Czech Republic and formerly known before that as Czechoslovakia. And it's a big day in Czechia today as they are facing England in the Euros to try and get a place in the final 16 in that tournament. But here at Brno, it is another important day in Czechia as the Crest Autosport RaceRoom Leagues in alliance with NXTGEN Racing is in town at this circuit, which is 190 kilometers southeast of the capital of Prague. And this circuit in the southeast region is about 50 kilometers north of Austria and 100 kilometers west of Slovakia. Czech Republic, or Czechia, is about as central to Europe as you can get. It is pretty much smack bang in the middle of Europe, bordered with Germany, Poland, Slovakia and Austria. But what about the circuit of Brno? It's one of the world's most popular motorbike destination. As you can see at the bottom there, it's hosted 28 MotoGP races and has forever hosted the Czech Republic Grand Prix for motorbikes. And of course, a huge memory for me, being a World Touring Car fan in the late 2000s. The Race of Czech Republic was hosted from 2006 to 2011, and 2006 in particular saw a fantastic race between all the BMWs and all the Seats in what was a back and forth race. Brno is one of 2 tracks in Czechia. Most is the other circuit, which we were meant to be at today, but we have decided to change track to the recently released Brno circuit in Ostrovacice. 3.3 miles long and 5.4 kilometres long, and it costs £4.30, this brand new racetrack on RaceRoom. 14 turns, 8 to the right and 6 to the left. This season of the Crest Autosport Racing Leagues in alliance with NXTGEN Racing is a 12-round tour of Europe, visiting 12 different countries in Europe, 12 different tracks. We started off all them weeks ago, now well over a month ago, at Portimao in Portugal. We remained in the Iberian Peninsula for the Aragon circuit on week 2. Week 3 took us to the south of France for the Paul Ricard circuit, which hosted the Formula 1 on the weekend. Round 4 was hosted at Imola, with round 5 last week's event, and what a round that was, at the Hungaroring in Hungary. Today we're at the Brno circuit. It was meant to be the Orstrom Moss circuit, but it has swapped to Brno. We will have a week off next week. But then after that, on the 6th of July, 2 days before my birthday, I know I keep mentioning it, I'm just trying to get a bit of attention over that, it is round 7 at Silverstone, the Grand Prix circuit. Spa-Francorchamps will feature round 8 in Belgium, with round 9 following at Zandvoort in the Netherlands. Anderstorp, aka the Scandinavian Raceway, will be our only Scandinavian trip in Sweden on the 27th of July for round 10. Round 11, the penultimate round, will be at the Red Bull Ring in Austria, and the Hockenheim Ring will take place for the final round on the 10th of August. There are plenty of cars available in this championship for the drivers and yourselves if you want to enter in this championship to participate with. All these 10 cars in the list plus one more that I haven't been bothered to add to the graphic just yet, but the Audi RS3, quite a popular track in the field, as well as the Alfa Romeo Giulietta. The Honda Civic has a few people driving it in the field, 2 people driving it in this race today, I do believe. The Lincoln Co, part of the Volvo family, but the sub-company of Volvo based in China is the Lincoln Co. The Renault Megane, which featured in the 2020 WTCR season, driven by a few drivers tonight. The Volkswagen Golf GTI no longer in TCR, and in fact, unfortunately, Volkswagen have completely dropped out of motorsport. It is a crying shame, as they are a legendary manufacturer in racing. The Hyundai i30, the Peugeot 308, which we sadly won't see tonight, neither will we the Lada Vesta, and there are a few Cupras in the field. And we also have the Opel Astra up for choice, which actually one driver in tonight's race is driving, so we'll get to that very shortly. But tonight's itinerary, what can you expect from tonight's racing? Well, there are 4 sessions, but 3 races. The first session, which will feature in 5 minutes' time, it will be a 15-minute qualifying session, which will set the grid for race 1, of course. Race 1 will be a 15-minute sprint race, and then almost immediately after will be race 2, another 15-minute race, but the grid will be formed by the results of race 1, but the top 8 will be reversed. So if you finish 8th in race 1, you will start on pole. If you finished 8th in race 1, you will start pole for race 2. Race 3, after a quick intermission, will take place later on in the night, just after 9 o'clock UK time. Race 3 will be a 25-minute race, so the drivers having to battle endurance and tyre wear a little bit more than they would the first 2 races, but the grid for that race will be formed by the results of race 2, but the top 15 will be reversed. So there we go, that was our introduction to tonight's race. We have 19 drivers in the server at the moment. I believe that might be our biggest grid met. No, it's not quite. Aragon was our biggest grid. We're not quite there yet. We've had quite a few new entries to the season, and one of them being second place out there, not on track at the moment, but Simon Johnson is a new driver tonight, so a huge welcome to him, to the Crest Autosport RaceRoom Leagues in alliance with Gen Racing. And speaking of Next Gen Racing, it is our only Opel Astra, as we mentioned. Jamie Doryu's taken the penalty of half of his points deducted, because that is the penalty for taking a new car midway through the season, which Stephen de Gravelia also did earlier on in the season. But Jamie Doryu's done the same to take the, well, he bought it thinking it was an orange Astra, and it definitely doesn't look like it on our screens right now. And on my UI, it's an orange car, but he is there in the number 123 red Opel Astra. So all manufacturers on in the field, which is great. Who else have we got? New driver in Daniel Elliott from the United States. Daniel Elliott taking his debut tonight. A huge welcome to him, and let's see how he gets on tonight. Championship leader, Eamon Hakim. Now, I did have a feeling he'd struggle tonight. Brno is a very wide and sweeping motorbike style circuit, so we would get you a track map, but because it's quite a new track, the broadcasting overlay doesn't quite support it. It's a third-party software, so we have to wait for updates, that sort of thing. But motorbike kind of circuit. Now I'll flash up the graphic we had at the beginning. There you go. So you can see it there. Quite long sweeping corners. Now the reason I am picking out Eamon Hakim in that is he's in the shortest wheelbase of the field, the Alfa Romeo Giulietta, which is a car that loves to rotate round tight corners and almost quick corners. But yeah, Eamon Hakim might struggle tonight, although he's not too far off the pace, and he's looking quite close in the top 5 at the moment on the times. That Alfa Romeo might not be so suited to this track. We'll see how he gets on, our championship leader. And speaking of championship, we'll quickly go through what happened last week and what it's done to the championship going into tonight. These were the results of last week's round at the Hungaroring. It was nearly another three-peat for Eamon Hakim, but he managed to finish off the podium in race 2, but qualified on pole and took it to the flag. Ian Deeney, with a very strong meeting, took 3rd on the grid, and a good battle with Lee Horn saw him take 2nd in the race. Fraser Austin, who qualified 2nd, had a terrible race 1. He just dropped down the order. He finished 7th, I believe, in race 1, and Lee Horn getting himself onto the podium. Jeff Perkins with his first win of the season. And some of these cars I've noticed on this graphic are wrong, so apologies for that. Jeff Perkins drove the Audi, not the Alfa Romeo, and Stefan Navalov drove the Alfa Romeo, not the Renault. Fraser Austin's getting himself on the podium for race 2, though. A much improved race for him. Race 3 was nice and exciting, with Eamon Hakim getting through the field to get to the top spot, as did Jonas Lindberg, who coincidentally is also 2nd in the championship, and 3rd in the championship, got 3rd in that race, Lee Horn. This is what it did to the championship standings following that race. Eamon Hakim on 534 points, leading by 38 points ahead of Jonas Lindberg in the Hyundai, and then Lee Horn following behind in 3rd place. Stefan Navalov with a nice, impressive, consistent season. Not a race win to his name just yet, but 4th in the championship for him. Jeff Perkins, who picked up his first win at the Hungaroring last week, is in 5th in the championship, just 5 points ahead of Ole Janssen, who's yet to pick up a win yet this season. In fact, has only had one top 3 placing, but he's 6th in the championship due to some very good, consistent results. Ian Deeney, 7th in the championship, having a real good mid-part of the season here, climbing up the order to 7th. Jürgen Mansby Pedersen with a pretty good night at the Hungaroring, he is 8th. Roy Plummer in 9th, with Anastasios Georgiadis in 10th position. Anastasios had his best result of the season last week as well, getting himself into the top 5 for race 3, last time out at the Hungaroring. And to make note, the championship standings also decides what ballast you carry into the first 2 races of the night here today. Now, because Murasaki Tadashi, aka Eamon Hakim, is leading the championship, he'll carry 40 kilograms on his car for an attempt at balance of performance. Jonas Lindberg with 36, and it runs down in increments of 4 down to Anastasios Georgiadis in 10th position there. The ballast will reset for race 3, so these drivers will carry this amount and allocated ballast for races 1 and 2. And race 3 later will be based off qualifying. So we are in qualifying right now, and the results of this session not only decide the starting grid for race 1, but it will decide what ballast you carry later on in the night on that crucial 25-minute race for race 3. The drivers out on the track right now, getting their tyres warmed up. As you can see, Jeff Purkis there, shaking the car around. He was quickest in our practice session just gone by. And he'll be looking for a very, very good performance tonight. He's full of beans, he is. We listened to him in the Discord chat just before the race. And he is buzzing after his win last week. And he's raring to get more. So we'll see how he gets on. 5th in the championship is Mr. Purkis. And his friend Simon Johnson has come along for his opening race in the Crest Autosport Racing Leagues in alliance with NXTGEN Racing, and second in practice. A thoroughly good performance in practice, but can he repeat that in qualifying and the race? We will see. And all these drivers swerving around to get their tyres warmed up. A track that's really tricky to warm up the tyres, either that or the car slides around quite a bit and understeers presumably quite a bit on this track. Another driver to take note of, Jamie Dory, 3rd in practice. Now Jamie's on a part-time basis this season, and soon we'll be announcing the upcoming Monday night NXTGEN iRacing races league, should I say, which I'll be commentating again, which is very, very good. Very much looking forward to that yet again, watching Bobby Thompson and Mikey Doble tear it up on track in those little Legends cars. So, what else have we got going on track? Well, we've got Jonas Lindberg here. Jonas, who put in a very, very good performance last time out at the Hungaroring, was a close contender for driver of the day, in my opinion. He was beaten to driver of the day on a subjective point of view, my opinion, by Mark Arrowsmith. A very good night last time out at the Hungaroring. Really got his elbows out and really got stuck into the action and put in some very, very good performances to get himself a top 10 in race 1, but unfortunately he didn't finish race 3, even though he was battling towards the top end of the field in that race. We've got purple sectors for Jonas Lindberg as he comes up the hill here at Brno, and in fact we will soon do a lap on board with someone. Hopefully Jonas Lindberg will go and set another time. Excuse me. We can get a lap on board with him. We might do Jeff Purkis actually, as Jonas Lindberg comes around the final corner. Excuse me, that's not Jonas Lindberg, and that is Chase Cam again, playing tricks on us. He's first out on the track, and he's the first to put a time on the board of a 2-minute 10.222. That is Eamon Akeem coming across the line to beat Lindberg by half a tenth. And let's get on board with Jeff Purkis. Chase Cam. Oh, purple sector's been a very good lap, it seems, for him at the moment. Mark Arrowsmith across the line to go 3rd. And this is a lap on board with Jeff Purkis. As the times come on the screen, Jeff Purkis goes into provisional pole. She goes into turn 1, one of the longest corners on the track. More than 180 degrees around this long right-hander that just goes on and on and on. And the track is very wide, so you have to unload the steering very quickly as soon as you see the exit of the corner. Around turn 2 he went back there, slight kink to the left. Now a left-hander of turn 3, bleeding it into the apex, not turning too much and then turning progressively a lot towards the end of the apex. Turn 4 as the back end steps out on that Audi. He runs a little bit wide there. He might have got away with that just enough, but he now comes down the hill into turn 5, this arena type section of the track. Turn 5 is always a corner that seems longer than it actually is. Turn 6, a slight kink to the right, and now we'll start braking into the sharp left-hander, the slowest corner on the track of turn 7. Now down into a left-right complex of turn 8 here. That rear end is really struggling on this track. Turn 9 here, long right-hander as we get onto one of the fastest straights on the track. We'll progress down the hill towards turn 10 here at Brno, the most eastern and southerly part of the track.
Long right-hander here yet again, and the back end just stepping out opposite lock on the Audi RS3 LMS. Up the hill, steep ascent up the hill as we progress towards the end of the lap. Turn 11 here, and then a quick swap of directions into turn 12. This hasn't turned out to be a pretty good lap from Jeff Perkins, but we're still getting a pretty good tour off the track anyway. As this is Jeff Perkins' friend slash teammate who was top of the standings until I just said that, as Eamon Hakeem is just putting in even quicker time. Jeff Perkins comes into turn 13 and now turn 14 to complete a lap of Brno. So Eamon Hakeem puts himself top of the standings. Lee Horn has put himself into third place. And another driver coming across the line back there. There's Ollie Janssen behind Jeff Perkins. And just behind Ollie Janssen is Heike Navalov in 9th. Back there, that seems to be the number 30 car of Simon Johnson, who's just put himself onto provisional pole position. Who is this Simon Johnson? Wow, brilliant introduction to the series so far for him. Pole position provisionally at the moment. Good time from Jürgen Madsby Pedersen in 5th place there in the Renault Megane, which we know from watching many of the races so far this season, the Renault Megane is very loose on the rear end. But he seems to be taming that beast rather well so far. We've got coming out the final corner, Daniel Elliott. Across the line he goes. Doesn't go any quicker than his original time, but Daniel's first outing on RaceRoom, I believe, so learning the ropes considerably at the moment. As we see Lee Horn almost drifting that Audi round turn 9 then. And he has got the Volkswagen Golf of Ben Payne just behind as they come down into turn 10. All the drivers except for Jürgen Madsby Pedersen out on the track at the moment. We are looking at Eamon Hakeem now, who's done a purple second sector as he comes up the hill in that tiny Alfa Romeo. Come into the final two corners of turn 13 and 14. Final corner here, a relatively short split, but it's a very long track for these drivers, over 2 minutes. Most of these tracks this season are over 2 minutes long, but Eamon Hakeem takes, wow, look how close that is. That is the tightest of margins, both set 2 minute 9.477, but it is Eamon Hakeem who must have had it by not a thousandth. What's lower than a thousandth? I don't know. A millisecond? I'm not too sure. But Eamon Hakeem takes provisional pole position at the moment, and Simon Johnson has got to go that little tiny bit quicker if he wants to get Eamon Hakeem back. Wow, that's incredible. If it ends like that, it'll be extraordinary. We've got Daniel Elliott going quicker than he was before, much quicker than he was before. Looking like a pretty decent lap from him. And I think that was Fraser Rosters, yes it was, going across the line to take 4th in the standings now. So he bumps Jeff Perkins, who was quickest in practice, down to 5th position. Eamon Hakeem, let's see how he's getting on this lap. Nothing to report just yet. We've got to keep an eye on Simon Johnson as well. This is Ian Deeney, we haven't mentioned him yet. Daniel Elliott has gone quicker and he's put himself into 17th place. Only one driver hasn't set a time, and it's Elliott House. Looking at Ian Deeney. A couple of drivers have gone faster in Sector 1. Quite a few have, so we'll get to them very shortly. And across the line goes Ian Deeney, 10th, and stays 10th. Lee Horn, personal best in Sector 1, personal best Sector 2. But it's not quite enough to be threatening pole position. He's still, however, 3rd on the grid, so pretty good. We've also got Alex Foyle, personal best in Sectors 1 and 2, 13th at the moment. So with this time, he could definitely climb up the order somewhat. Might get himself up to 11th, but a few positions is better than no positions. Simon Johnson heading back on track. That might not be enough time. In fact, it won't be enough time to set another lap. or complete another lap. So it's going to have to be someone other than Eamon Hakeem. And coincidentally, we have just drawn focus to Ian Deeney, who's gone outright quickest in Sector 1 in that Alfa Romeo. 10th in the standings at the moment. Ian Deeney has really come on leaps and bounds in the last few races or so. He put on quite a show for us at Imola and the Hungaroring. We'll see how he'll do today at Brno. We'll come back to Ian Deeney very shortly as Petter Nyström, bottom of the standings at the moment, as Elliot House did set a time and put himself 15th. Petter Nyström, personal best in Sector 1, so we'll see how he gets on for the rest of the lap. Let's draw focus back to Ian Deeney. Oh, and he lost a lot of time in Sector 2, so that's probably not going to be enough to take pole position. It might well be another pole position for Eamon Hakeem, and as I say that, Eamon Hakeem has gone outright quickest in Sector 1 again. So what I was saying about the Alfa Romeo earlier, chuck that out the window. Eamon Hakeem has proved me wrong. As he has done quite a bit this season. Back with Ian Deeney, let's see if he can improve his time anyway. I think he did, yes, he puts himself into 10th, no, he stays 10th position. So, what was looking promising for Eamon Hakeem, Ian Deeney, didn't quite happen. This will be a bit of a consolation lap, as Eamon Hakeem will pip Simon Johnson to pole position by what must be a whisker. Absolutely dead even times on the board at the moment from these two drivers, but RaceRoom seems to think that Eamon Hakeem got across the line quickest. We'll believe it, but he might go even quicker just to get rid of that rather astonishing statistic we're looking at. Comes around the final corner. Kick of dust behind the car. Does go quicker. And that gets him off level pegging with Simon Johnson to take pole position so far. Unless the championship Lee Horn has anything to say about it, and it looks like he hasn't. I don't think he'll complete the lap in time. Oh, actually he will, yes, if he can get himself a pretty decent lap here, which Sector 1 certainly isn't. 7/10, 3/4 of a second off the pace. So it might just be a practice lap by the looks of it for Lee Horn. Fraser Rostens, what can he do? No, he hasn't gone any quicker either. What about Jamie Dory, who was third in practice, has gone personal bests in sectors 1 and 2, so he might creep up the order. A little bit of a toe ahead of him from, I believe that's Ian Deeney ahead of him, which will be helping him, definitely on this track anyway. This will be a very highly effective track when it comes to draft. Oh, as he runs wide, coming out of turn 13 there, so that will abolish his lap. But he'll complete the lap anyway, and I reckon that will be game, set and match for Eamon Hakeem. But Jamie Dory does put himself into 7th. It could have been a bit better for him. But anyway, these are our classified standings in qualifying, and they'll therefore set the grid for race 1 and the ballast later on for race 3. Eamon Hakeem takes pole from newcomer Simon Johnson in 2nd place. Lee Horn takes 3rd place from fellow Audi driver Fraser Rostens, from fellow Audi driver Jeff Perkis. Jürgen Masby Pedersen takes 6th with Jamie Dory in 7th. Ollie Hansen is in 8th position. And we'll get those standings back on the screen for you, because we'll need them later. So yes, 8th was Ollie Janssen. Jonas Lindberg, 2nd in the championship, disappointing qualifying session for him, 9th on the grid. 10th for Heike Navalov, 11th has gone to Ian Deeney. Ben Payne with 12th position, just ahead of his Crest Autosport teammate Alex Foyle. Mark Arrowsmith takes 14th with Petter Nyström in 15th. Elliot House in 16th with Roy Plummer in 17th position. 18th taken up by Anastasios Georgiadis, and Daniel Elliott will round out the back of the grid in 19th position. Unfortunately, a couple of drivers not able to turn up tonight. To point out the few that weren't able to race tonight, Alex Ward has got issues at home with his pets, I believe. Eunice Carby, I'm not quite sure, he's not here. Alexander Jakobsen has got an emergency at home. Gabriel Lopez not racing tonight. We have got Stephen de Gravelia is not able to make it tonight. So we could, in the second half of the season, end up with grids of around 20 plus, which would be very, very good indeed. But as we mentioned, a little bit more housekeeping to be mentioned. We do have a week off next week. Next Tuesday there is no racing from us and no broadcast. But we'll be back in 2 weeks' time, which will be round 7 at Silverstone. Lee Horn getting a bit of practice before things get underway here at Brno in Czechia. And speaking of which, Czechia are fighting against England in the Euros today for, well, trying to get themselves into the top 16 in the Euros, and England trying to win their group. So plenty going on for Czechia today, plenty going on for many of these drivers from Britain, presumably supporting England. England are about third in my support list because I've got them in a sweepstake. If you know me, and you guys might know me well, number 1 is Wales for me, and number 2 is Holland. Don't ask me why. Tale for another day. As we'll line up on the grid for this first race of the night. Sadly, the image is not working because it's not quite updated, but this is the Euro TCR Championship hosted by Crest Autosport in alliance with NXTGEN Racing. My name is Alex Everett. On behalf of Crest Autosport, welcome along to the stream wherever you're watching, Facebook, YouTube or Twitch. Give us a subscribe, give us a like. Do check out the links in our description for lovely stickers and Track Racer. You also can find some discount codes in there. 10% off for lovely stickers and 5% off for Track Racer. But we've got racing to watch. It's Eamon Hakeem on the front row of the grid. Simon Johnson is alongside. We don't have a better camera angle. Yes, we do. Lights are red, and now they go green. It's a jump start from Jamie Doran. What a start from Lee Horn. We can see there in the yellow Audi. Eamon Hakeem actually gets away pretty well not long after setting off from the grid. And as we come down towards turn 1, very wide entry into turn 1, and that is Lee Horn on the outside of Simon Johnson as we come round turn 1 to complete the first corner of the lap. Simon Johnson remains in second place for the time being, but it's Eamon Hakeem who pulls away in first place for the time being. Back here we got Jamie Dury, who will have to serve a drive-through penalty for jumping the start, and that is Jeff Perkins just ahead, and Fraser Rosson's just alongside him. Jeff Perkins up to 4th place at the moment. Oh, it's so wide on this circuit. You're going to see plenty of drivers taking nosedives on other drivers, plenty of side-by-side action as there's plenty of room for multiple cars to go side-by-side. That's Fraser Rosson's taking a lunge towards Jeff Perkins, just about can't get his nose underneath the rear quarter panel of Jeff Perkins's Audi. Oh, it's very sideways there. Goes Jamie Dory, dives up the inside, as does back there Jonas Lindberg on Jürgen Madsby Pedersen to get into 7th place. And wide there goes Jürgen Madsby Pedersen and into the wall. That might be heavy damage for the Danish driver. Not celebrating yesterday for qualifying into the final 16 of the Euros. Not celebrating today though. Lee Horn with a very good start. Following Simon Johnson down this straight. He's got a bit less weight as Simon Johnson than these drivers around him, so presenting a little bit of an advantage as Lee Horn washed out wide onto the marbles then. Lost a bit of ground, and back then it's still side by side between many drivers. Fraser Rostons and Jonas Lindberg as they come around turn 11 here. Plenty of touching of that rear bumper from Jonas Lindberg, and he gets a little bit of a push, help up the hill from Ollie Jansen to get back alongside. Oh, chase cam. Fraser Rostons, chase cam. And Fraser surrenders 6th place to Jonas Lindberg, is now hanging on just ahead of Ian Deeney. Remember, 8th place is a very important position to be in, as that will get you reverse grid pole position for race 2 coming up later on. 2 Lincoln Co cars going at it with one another. That is Alex Foyle versus Ollie Jansen, and as we mentioned earlier, Jamie Dory is in the pits serving a drive-through penalty for jumping the start. At the end of lap 1, Eamon Hakeem leads from Simon Johnson. Now remember, Eamon Hakeem has got 40 kilos of ballast on board. Simon Johnson, being a new driver, hasn't had any time to pick up any ballast, so therefore has 0 kilos on his car and is rapid right now. But Simon Johnson, a very good driver clearly as well, because although 40 kilos on your car does weigh you down a little bit, you've still got to go some ways to get your car up the top this end of the grid, particularly against Eamon Hakeem, who's one of the best RaceRoom WTCR drivers I've seen. Jonas Lindberg has dropped back a bit from the top 4, holding up quite a big train up there. Oh, and there's a big spin back there. That's Daniel Elliott. We're not able to get a replay of how that happened, but spins in the background there. He's able to keep going. And we did see Jamie Dory got another drive-through penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Rather unfortunate for the Opel Astra NXTGEN driver, but we'll see if he can more than make up for it in races 2 and 3 later on. This is Rostons right behind Dini. Ollie Hansen holds the reverse grid pole position spot at the moment of 8th place, just ahead of fellow Lincoln co-driver Alexander Foyle. We've got Fraser Rostons trying to find the inside of Ian Dini going into turn 10. And he has found his way through. Rostons is into 6th place. And back there's an interesting battle from last week's driver of the day, Mark Arrowsmith, just ahead of him, Ben Payne, Petter Nystrom and Heikin Navalov. Bit of a surprise to see him this far down the order, and he's battling with Elliot House back there. This is for 13th place. Elliot House in the Audi there. Oh, look at that. That's Eamon Hakeem losing position to Simon Johnson, and this is rather an unfamiliar sight, seeing Eamon Hakeem struggling against another driver. Simon Johnson, on his debut to the championship, leads his first lap here in the Crest Autosport RaceRoom Leagues in alliance with NXTGEN Racing. Brilliant start to the night for him. Nice and tight on that apex in turn 1 there. Got Fraser Rostons trying to get up against Jonas Lindberg. He's still got Ian Dini perilously looking behind him. Ian Dini taking a look. We've also got Mark Arrowsmith taking a look. Trying to break the slipstream, trying to see the corner a bit better. Back here we've still got an interesting battle between Heike and Navalov. Petter Nystrom just ahead, and Elliot House pushing him through the corner. Let's get on board with Elliot House. Got the chase cam. Oh, and Heike Navalov a bit later on the brakes, struggling with that Alpha. It seems that rear end was real loose on him, and he's struggling to keep it going coming out of the corners. Elliot House having a very good run, has the inside. Oh, and there's a big contact on the rear left quarter panel, and Heike Navalov's nearly spun into Petter Nystrom, putting them both sideways. Both hang on to their positions at the moment. Oh, Navalov, I thought he was going to get a bit of a lunge on Petter Nystrom, but no, they remain in position for the time being. Back at the front, Eamon Hakeem still right behind, trying to look for a way through on Simon Johnson, and in fact threw a bit of a dummy there, which puts Simon Johnson wide. Eamon Hakeem's able to get alongside. Johnson gives room, but will maintain position going into turn 11. Lincoln still going at it. Axfold knows he's got pole position for race 2 right ahead of him. Can he get it? He goes a little bit wide onto the gravel there. Let's see if Mark Arrowsmith, chase cam, gains on him. Mark Arrowsmith has really improved leaps and bounds this season. It has been great to watch, and he's up there in the top 10 now yet again in this race, and at the start of the season he was nowhere near the top 10. It is brilliant to see how much he's improved. There's been other drivers significantly improving throughout the season as well, including Jeff Perkis, Georgiadis, Roy Plummer. Excellent to see. So Eamon Hakeem has no answer to Simon Johnson. The only one that's really given him a huge threat at the front in the last few races. Come through turn 3 here. We're about halfway through this race. It's a very long lap here at Brno, and long sweeping corners is very difficult to get the upper hand on other drivers around you. We've got Fraser Rostons right behind Jonas Lindberg. Oh, drops back a little bit. Fraser Rustin's getting very sideways coming through the middle complex there. We got Eamon Akeem real close to Simon Johnson again as we go through turns 8 and 9. Coming out of turn 9 now. Eamon Akeem, will he be able to close in on Simon Johnson? No, he's not. He's not close enough. Not happening at the moment, but Eamon Akeem will not need to worry about this. He's only dropping 2 points and he's still scoring more points than that of his championship rivals Lee Horn and Jonas Lindberg, of which are running 5th and 3rd respectively. We have got Jonas Lindberg back here holding up a bit of a train. Hasn't really changed in the last few laps or so. Fraser Rustin's right behind, all over the rear, going through turns 11 and 12. We've got Alex Ball still trying desperately to try and get onto Ollie Jansson's game position and get reverse grid pole. But on this part of the track, Alex Ball seems to be struggling, dropping back a little bit from the Swedish driver. You can just see the kind of techniques that these drivers are trying. They're trying to power it through the corner and get it out as wide as they can to just gain on the drivers ahead, and it's just not working so well for these drivers. It's a very stalemate kind of track, is Brno, as you have got to nail your corners absolutely perfectly. You've got to have a good setup. They have an open setup choice, so they can modify the car any way they want in terms of softening or stiffening, anti-roll bars, dampers, tire pressure adjustments, camber adjustments, anything like that. Is he going to try a lunge? No, he isn't. Lindberg holding up at the moment, and they are a fair bit back from the pack ahead. 3 seconds down the road. Eamon Akeem closing in on Simon Johnson on various parts of the track. This middle section where the Alfa Romeo will be better than Hyundai, as you can twist it around the corners a little bit more. See, he really gains on Simon Johnson on this part of the track. So we've got 5 minutes to go. And you can see there he just dropped back a little bit, just couldn't quite get the car into the corner properly. Had to take a late apex, which at Brno isn't the ideal line. Oh, and Heike Navalov is pulled off to the side. We're not able to get replays on RaceRoom, which is really unfortunate. But he's ended up at the back of the grid now, and Navalov, who's been doing rather well in the championship, running into tonight. 4th in the championship. This is not good for his championship bid. Akeem hasn't quite let Simon Johnson get away. Lee Horn is not letting them get away either. He's still within just over a second behind Eamon Akeem. Start, finish straight. There'll be 2 laps to go. Johnson leads from Eamon Akeem. To turn 1 we go. We've got Ian Deeney real close behind Fraser Rustin's, not able to make a move just yet. You see the rear ends on these cars really turning away, and we saw Fraser Rustin's get out of shape through turn 1 then, and that has allowed Ian Deeney to get alongside. But tucks back in behind. He hasn't had the power out of the corner. That's the thing with Brno. If you're on the outside, you can power your way through the corner and hang on to a position. So you've got to be, you've got to be on it to make a move on this track. We haven't quite seen huge evidence of easy overtaking just yet, Brno. The other track we were going to go to was Autodrom Most. Autodrom Most is an equally difficult track to overtake on, but for different reasons. But look at that, Mark Arrowsmith on the inside of Alex Ball. They both go a little bit wide. Just saw that move in the corner of our cameras there. Mark Arrowsmith has now put himself into reverse grid pole position. If he can hang on for another lap and a half, that'll be a huge milestone for Mark Arrowsmith. Alex Ball has got to fight back now. Guards the inside from Ollie Janssen. Both of them have dropped down to 9th and 10th. Well, Alex Ball was in 9th earlier on in the race. They've also got Ben Payne to worry about in the Volkswagen Golf there. But this is brilliant from Mark Arrowsmith. So far, the most improved driver of the season. One of the few Hondas in the field. We also have Daniel Elliott in the Honda, and soon coming along for the races later on in the season will be Scott McLean of Crest Autosport. He'll be coming along to drive the Honda. Mark Arrowsmith waving the flag for the Japanese brand at the moment now. Simon Johnson comes through the penultimate corner and the final corner, and will start the final lap on the next time by. Now this will be a big lap for him. His first race in Crest Autosport RaceRoom Leagues in alliance with NXTGEN. And could he get himself onto the top step of the podium? Could be doing a Max Verstappen here. Into turn 1. Eamon Akeem has no answer at the moment. Lee Horn has dropped back a little bit on this last lap or so. We haven't mentioned Jeff Perkins much either. He is just remaining himself in 4th place, happy to pick up them big points at the moment. Jonas Lindberg has pulled away from Fraser Rossins, who's still battling with Ian Deeney. Ian Deeney's got alongside him on this back straight and has to tuck back in behind again. The battle for 8th has got a bit closer as Alex Foyle has gained a little bit on Mark Arrowsmith in this last few corners or so. Foyle takes a dive to the inside, and Mark Arrowsmith just about covers him off. We've also got Ben Payne back there trying some moves on Ollie Hansen. A good exit from the corner from Ben Payne. Can he get up the inside as we come down into turn 5? No, he can't, but a big lunge there from Alex Foyle. A repeat move of what Mark did to him a lap ago, and puts himself into 8th place. Big move from Alex Foyle there. Gets himself into reverse grid pole as Mark Arrowsmith takes another swipe at the inside and doesn't quite make it work in turn 7 there. We've also got Ben Payne looking to the inside of Ollie Hansen. This is the battle for reverse grid pole, remember, so finishing 8th gets you on that front row. Bad exit from the corner there from Alex Foyle. Chase Cam, we love you. Arrowsmith looking to the inside, swaps to the outside. Is he able to get it round the outside on turn 10 here? Oh, and Foyle blocking him off at the exit of the corner. I think Mark might feel a little hard done by that. They're both just lunging in on each other, not giving each other any room, and they do come together. Contact's made, and that will lose out Mark Arrowsmith more and more places. But we must revert to the front as Eamon Akeem, I'm sorry for missing it, ladies and gentlemen, has retaken the lead and will take a win here. We're not able to get replays, unfortunately, on RaceRoom. I'm a bit gutted we missed that, but Eamon Akeem takes another win this season. That is win number 10. He's in double figures on wins now, and a big battle between him and Simon Johnson. He left it to the final lap to do it. It's a shame we didn't know where and when, as we were watching that battle for 8th place. Had distracted us and we hadn't seen they got close together. Lee Horn takes 3rd place for himself. Another podium finish for him. That will be podium finish number 8 for him. Jeff Perkins takes 4th with Jonas Lindberg in 5th position. Alex Foyle did take reverse grid pole in the end after an intense final lap battle with Mark Arrowsmith. Interesting racing from these drivers, quite difficult to overtake, we found. And we'll see how race 2 gets on, where the grid gets slightly mixed up with a reverse grid of the top 8 here. So there we go. There's the classified standings of race 1 of the night. It's another win for Eamon Akeem, and he had to work hard for it on that final lap. He pips newcomer Simon Johnson to that win with Lee Horn on the podium. Perkins takes 4th with Lindberg in 5th. Roston 6th, and starting on the front row for the next race will be Ian Deeney and Alex Foyle. We will be going for a quick break now as the next session gets booted up. Don't go away, we'll be back very, very soon with race 2 of the night. Thank you for watching so far.
The GP Box is an online marketplace for motorsports merchandise and memorabilia. Browse for a whole range of motorsports products in all forms of motorsport. Take Formula 1 for example. There is a whole section dedicated to Formula 1 products from your favourite drivers, cars, teams or tracks from all eras of Formula 1.
There are more series available, including WRC if you are a rally fan. You can even search for your favourite form of motorsport to see what products they have in your favourite forms of motorsport. Or, if yourself are a retailer in motorsport, you could set up your own shop within the GP box to open up your products to a much bigger motorsport audience. Find out more at thegpbox.com. The GP Box is an online marketplace for motorsports merchandise and memorabilia. Browse for a whole range of motorsports products in all forms of motorsport. Take Formula 1 for example. There is a whole section dedicated to Formula 1 products from your favourite drivers, cars, teams or tracks from all eras of Formula 1. There are more series available, including WRC if you are a rally fan. You can even search for your favourite form of motorsport to see what products they have in your favourite forms of motorsport. Or, if yourself are a retailer in motorsport, you could set up your own shop within the GP box to open up your products to a much bigger motorsport audience. Find out more at thegpbox.com. Welcome back everyone, and this will be race 2 of the night of the Euro TCR round 6 at Brno for the Crest Autosport RaceRoom Leagues in alliance with NXTGEN Racing. My name is Alex Everett of Crest Autosport. Thank you for coming along and watching on YouTube, Facebook or Twitch, wherever you are watching, whichever platform, wherever you are around the world. Welcome along, give us a like and a subscribe on the videos. And please do check out the description of these videos where you can check out some interesting discount codes from some very, very great brands, including lovely stickers where you can find yourself a 10% discount code. If you use the code CRESTLS10, that's all in one word, on lovelystickers.com, you'll get a 10% discount off any sim racing sticker. So if you have a Fanatec base or a T300 Thrustmaster wheel or anything like that, you know what I mean, you can get a nice lovely sticker of any sort of brand. So they replicate Formula 1 liveries, endurance liveries, touring car liveries, rally car liveries, and you can have them on your steering wheel and steering wheel base. And we also are sponsored by Track Racer, where you can also find the code CREST to get 5% discount off any Track Racer sim racing product, including monitor stands and rigs. And very sturdy rigs indeed are Track Racer rigs, one of the best in the business. Either of them products from Lovely Stickers or Track Racer will set you on your way to the next step in sim racing. So here we go, race 2 of the night. And it will be a reverse grid pole for Alex Full, as we can see there in the Link & Co, just on the left of our screen. And starting alongside him will be Ian Deeney. We're on the grid. Alex Foyle starts pole. Ian Deeney second. Lights are turning red now. We'll go green here at Brno now, and no one gets a jump start. It's a good start by the looks of it from Fraser Rostens in the grey Audi there as we come down towards turn 1 now. Fraser Rostens immediately takes second place from Ian Deeney. Into turn 1 we go. He follows the Lincoln Co through into turn 1 now. Round the corner they go, and it seems relatively stable from these drivers at the moment. Lee Horn has got himself up 1 place already to 7th place. Simon Johnson has got himself up 1 place to 6th position. Coming into turn 3 we go. We got Jeff Purkis on the inside of Simon Johnson, and Johnson is having a very, very good start to this race. He might well get his way past Jeff Purkis right away, and he does. Brilliant start to this race from him, up 2 places already. Down towards turn 5 we go. Ian Deeney trying to find his way back. And look again, there's Simon Johnson trying the inside again on Jonas Lindberg this time. Isn't quite able to get it alongside and through. Oh, Lee Horn very close to Jeff Purkis there. Bit of a nudge up the rear. Oh, and was that a spin from... Oh, I thought I saw a spin from a driver there. My eyes are deceiving me. Down towards turns 8 and 9. It's a good start to this race from Alex Foyle in the Lincoln Co. He's got to fend off Fraser Rostens. Rostens, who in race 2 last week at the Hungaroring got himself a podium, and he's certainly going to be looking for another here. Jonas Lindberg has found his way past Ian Deeney, who went wide at turn 9. As we come down to turn 10, Simon Johnson will be trying to take 4th position from him, and so far it's looking so good. He's on the inside. He'll come round the corner. Gives him room, gives each other room, and back there we have got Lee Horn versus Ayman Hakim. Lee Horn on the outside of the Malaysian driver. We've still got Simon Johnson on the side. Oh, look at that, Lee Horn muscling his way through, past Ayman Hakim, and up the hill we go. Ian Deeney still battling with Simon Johnson. He tucks just in front. No, he can't quite yet. Johnson hangs on to the outside. What a move it was. Is and still is going on. He went a little bit wide coming out of turn 13, to be fair, and a slow down penalty will lose him a bit of momentum on this back straight here. But at the end of lap 1, Fraser Rostens, who's taken the lead from Alex Foyle. Another lead change that we miss. Oh, I'm a bit rusty tonight. Fraser Rostens leads. Oh, and he runs wide onto the marbles he goes, and that'll put Alex Foyle back into the lead. There is a number 1 lead change that we have spotted. Thank Lord for that. A slight ascent towards turn 3 and back down the hill. Fraser Rostens has got to fight Jonas Lindberg now to get back into the top positions. Jonas Lindberg will be keeping a firm eye on the drivers behind, trying to make sure that he scores more points than his championship rivals Ayman Hakim and Lee Horn. Back there in 7th and 8th at the moment. Hasn't been a good start to this race from Lee Horn, who has dropped 2 places so far. Oh, Rostens couldn't quite keep the inside on Lindberg there. And into 2nd place goes Lindberg, who so far this season has 1 win and 5 top 3s to his name. And Rostens wide again onto the marbles, and that's allowed Ian Deeney up his inside. There is the cockpit view of Ian Deeney, and that's Rostens alongside. Coming around turn 8 we go. He has the inside, but then the outside for turn 9. Very wide there, and that'll lose a lot of momentum, and that's Johnson versus Purkis behind. Big side-by-side battle, door banging, coming around that corner there. Alongside Simon Johnson there, and there is Jeff Purkis and his chase cam. Ayman Hakim taking a big lunge towards Purkis, not able to get alongside. It did startle Jeff Purkis just a little bit there. Sadly, we have to report a retirement of Daniel Elliott, who has had a game crash. Sort of the game's equivalent of an engine blowing up, unfortunately, so hopefully we'll see Dan Elliott back later on in this race. Oh, and a bit wide there. Simon Johnson touched the gravel a bit, which really does slow down the car quite a bit. And up the top of the hill we have got Alex Foyle versus Jonas Lindberg. Lindberg taking a better line through turn 13 here and 14, but he's not able to get the inside just yet. We'll have a good run though. Across the start-finish line, Foyle leads another lap. Look at that. Lee Horn being taken to the pit wall by Ayman Hakim as he finds the inside as we come towards turn 1. Not able to get alongside. Ayman Hakim runs wide, gets his sideways on the marbles and is able to just about keep it going. A big wheel-to-wheel contact between him and Mark Arrowsmith. He just didn't see Mark Arrowsmith there, but they keep going. That drops Eamon Hakeem back to where he started, 8th place. Still going on between Lindbergh and Foyle. Lindbergh found the inside at turn 4 there and takes the lead. Alex Foyle loses the lead there, but he will fight back. Coming down the inside, going into turn 5. Big move yet again, similar to what he pulled on Mark Arrowsmith in race 1. Jonas Lindbergh probably won't be very happy with that due to the contact. The two not giving each other much room on the apex there. Simon Johnson in 4th place. He's got himself ahead of Ian Deeney. He's got Rostons now ahead of him. Around the outside of turn 8, if he can hang on to that, he might try the inside for turn 9. Rostons went a little bit wide. It's a very difficult corner, is turn 9 there. And Johnson has found the inside for the next corner, which will be turn 8. Here is the view from Simon Johnson. Oh, door banging going into turn 10, and Simon Johnson has got himself through and into the top 3 yet again. This is the kind of performance we'd usually see from Eamon Hakeem. Not today, it's from Simon Johnson. What a hero he's been so far tonight. Alex Foyle leads again, and wide there goes Simon Johnson, and that will allow Fraser Rostons back through and into 3rd place. Simon Johnson will have to tuck back in behind. He's now got Ian Deeney on his inside again. Oh, he cuts off his nose, does Simon Johnson. And we've got Lee Horn there, going very wide, coming through turn 13. He's on the inside of Eamon Hakeem. He has a slow down penalty. I think you get a slow down penalty for getting too close to the pit entry, and he'll have to serve that eventually. He has also got Mark Arrowsmith to worry about. There is Arrowsmith on the inside. Late break from Arrowsmith. Will he be able to keep it tight to the inside? Just about. He takes 8th place. Brilliant move from Arrowsmith. We have got Simon Johnson trying to get himself back into 3rd place. We've seen him making those moves around the outside. We've got Lindbergh looking at Alex Foyle, not able to make a move, and Johnson gets his way past Fraser Rostons for 3rd place yet again. And Lee Horn has dropped to 11th place. He might have still been serving a slow down penalty. He's now a sitting duck by the looks of it to Ollie Janssen. There is Janssen. He's got Elliot House right behind him. He is guarding off from Elliot House rather than go for a move on Lee Horn. A big nudge up the rear from Elliot House. And they've got Jürgen Madsby Pedersen trying to make a recovery back there in 14th. Jamie Dory making a good recovery. Made up a few places in 10th at the moment. The important position to be in is 15th, as Roy Plummer takes up that place, which will be reverse grid pole if he keeps it to the end of the race. Eamon Hakeem and Mark Arrowsmith. Mark Arrowsmith, you wouldn't have thought he'd be here at this point of the season when you looked at him at the start of the season, and look at him, he's trying to make moves on Eamon Hakeem. Incredible stuff from him. Powers it through that corner, does Arrowsmith in that Honda. It's got a very powerful diff, the Honda does. If you can get that car pointing in a straight line coming out of the corners, sort of a late entry to the corner and a straight exit, that car will be faster than any other car coming off the corners. It is such a powerful car on acceleration. Lindbergh really close to Alex Foyle yet again. They've got to be careful as Simon Johnson's coming, but Lindbergh's not wasting any time. He takes to the outside. That will probably be a slow down penalty. Yes, it will. Just about saw it on the right there on the notice, and he'll have to serve that. And that'll probably mean he's in danger from Simon Johnson. You can see Simon Johnson's got a big run on his fellow Hyundai driver. Coming into turn 1, he'll take to the inside right away. Jonas Lindbergh is trying desperately to hang on to it. Simon Johnson's holding the inside. Coming around turn 1 they go. Slight kink to the left of turn 3. Johnson looks like he's got it. He does. So Jonas Lindbergh might still be trying to serve that slow down penalty as he's losing a lot of momentum to Fraser Rostons as well. Coming into turn 3. Oh, Lindbergh just turns across Fraser Rostons, and they both went sideways. Brett Rostons managed to get away with that, but Lindbergh drops another place behind. Ian Deeney is in danger now from Eamon Hakeem. What a race we're watching here. It's non-stop action. A couple of moves across the track there from Lindbergh. We've got Perkis on the inside of Arrowsmith. Bit of door-to-door, wheel-to-wheel contact. Arrowsmith not able to get by Perkis. Oh, and a big lunge there from Jonas Lindberg on Ian Deeney. Slowed him down a little bit. You can see his championship rivals right behind him now. Lindberg, who was going for first place. Oh, well, look at that. It's a spin from Eamon Hakeem. The championship leader spun into the wall. He came across the track, and there was a driver, two drivers, in fact, on his inside. Eamon Hakeem has run out of luck. It has not happened to him at all this season. It happens here today in race 2. He's down to 14th place. He did just come across the track and there were drivers alongside him. There's nothing those drivers could do, and I think they were Arrowsmith and Perkis. Still, Eamon Hakeem is in 14th place there, and if Eamon Hakeem's anything to go by, he'll definitely win the race if he finishes where he is right now. Well, on the turntables. But let's resume with the rest of the action. Alex Foyle, who took his debut to this season at Imola, hasn't really hit the heights just yet, but until now he's having a big old battle here with Simon Johnson, who finds the inside on a nice neat little undercut. Oh, Chase Cam, we love you. I wish I could just take it out. I might see if I can. Simon Johnson couldn't quite keep it alongside Alex Foyle. We'll have to try again on another corner. Arrowsmith is up to 6th. What an impressive performance this is from him. He's got ahead of Perkis. He's got Jamie Dory hounding him behind in that Opel Astra, who is fighting away with Jeff Perkis. Perkis and Dory alongside each other, coming into turn 3 we go. Dory will hang on to the inside for turn 4. In we go, and that'll be 7th place for Jamie Dory. Brilliant move from him. A great comeback here from the Next Gen League host. Flash of lights from Jeff Perkis trying to put off Jamie Dory. I doubt there's anything malicious from Jeff Perkis. Not really that kind of guy is Jeff Perkis. A slow down penalty for Simon Johnson. I'm not sure how and where. Kind of cracked the track a bit too much, maybe. Have to serve that at some point. Alex Foyle dives deep into turn 8 to defend the corner. Simon Johnson clearly the quicker driver. Foyle is trying desperately to hang on to it. A big undercut. Simon Johnson loves that move coming out of turn 9. Ah, chase cam. That's the inside, but that Lincoln Co is pretty good down the straights. Oh, and a little nudge at the rear. He locks up the brakes to try and avoid Alex Foyle. Stays in 2nd place at the moment. And this is allowed Ian Deeney, Roston's ahead of him, and Lindberg behind him to close up on this top 2 here. Now, at the end of this lap, we will see, well, in America we would see the white flag, and it will be the final lap. Next time by. So Alex Foyle has got one more lap to defend off from Simon Johnson, who's trying the outside of turn 13 again, and he'll have the inside for turn 14. Can Alex Foyle get on the power early? Yes, he can, but I don't think he's got it. Simon Johnson has got himself ahead as we start the final lap here. Chase cam of Brno. The second race here, Simon Johnson got 2nd place. He very nearly won race 1. Oh, look at that. It's a big undercut from Alex Foyle there on the inside, on the curb, mounting it up high on the grass there to try and get it back alongside Simon Johnson. We saw reminiscent of this in race 1 from Alex Foyle on Mark Arrowsmith, and now he's trying it on Simon Johnson, who defends the inside hard. 5 cars battling for the top spot here. Simon Johnson runs wide, braking a little bit too late. He'll still hold the inside for turn 4. Has Alex Foyle got himself back in the lead? Yes, he has. Back into the lead goes the Lincoln Co driver, and back then we've got Frostens against Jonas Lindberg. Lindberg tucks it back in behind Frostens, tries the inside of Deeney, can't quite make it. Johnson has got to try something. He loves that undercut coming out of turn 9. Might he try that? What a race we've seen here. This is probably one of the best races we've seen all season from many drivers across the grid. We've seen lots of drama as well. Foyle trying that deep dive into turn 1 to keep it tight on the apex. Simon Johnson will take a late apex here and try the good run down the hill towards turn 10, but we know that Lincoln Co has got a pretty good straight line speed compared to the Hyundai with the chase cam. Coming into turn 10. hasn't quite worked out for Simon Johnson. He'll have to pull off an outside manoeuvre at turn 13 again. Can he get there though? Alex Foyle holding him off very well at the moment. Excuse me, Simon Johnson was denied first place in race 1. Will he be denied first place in this race? He swaps directions to try and find the way around Alex, and he's been allowed to the outside. Alex Foyle breaks into the corner. Deeney's guarding off from Rostons. Deeney has got himself into third place. There goes Johnson for turn 14 inside, but I don't think he's made it. Alex Foyle comes off the final corner. He'll win his opening race of the season. Brilliant driving from Alex Foyle, guarding off from Simon Johnson. Another second place for him. Rather impressive indeed. Ian Deeney takes another podium. That will be Ian Deeney's 6th podium of the season. Brilliant from him. Fraser Rostons battling brilliantly to get 4th. Jonas Leemberg takes 5th. Jamie Dory, a great comeback to get himself into 6th. And Mark Arrowsmith, 7th place. A brilliant performance from him. Jeff Perkis will take 8th place with Jürgen Madsby Pedersen. Another good comeback, as well as Jamie Dory. He takes 9th. Ben Payne takes 10th with Ollie Hansen in 11th. Lee Horn drops down the order to 12th with his championship rival Eamon Hakeem in 13th. Elliot House 14th. And Roy Plummer will take reverse grid pole for race 3. 15th is where he finished. Last of the finishers were Petter Nystrom and Anastasios Georgiadis. We saw Heike Navalov pull over at the start of the race. He got a DNF and therefore no points, as does Dan Elliott with a computer failure. Well, what a race we've seen. One of the best of the season. It was won by Alex Foyle. We'll be going away for a quick break, but when we come back, it will be the 3rd race of the night. The 25-minute race here at Brno for round 6 of the Crest Autosport Next Gen Racing Euro TCR Championship. Don't go away, we'll be back very soon. The GP Box is an online marketplace for motorsports merchandise and memorabilia. Browse for a whole range of motorsports products in all forms of motorsport. Take Formula 1 for example. There is a whole section dedicated to Formula 1 products, from your favourite drivers, cars, teams or tracks from all eras of Formula 1. There are more series available, including WRC if you are a rally fan. You can even search for your favourite form of motorsport to see what products they have in your favourite forms of motorsport. Or, if yourself are a retailer in motorsport, you could set up your own shop within the GP Box to open up your products to a much bigger motorsport audience. Find out more at thegpbox.com. The GP Box is an online marketplace for motorsports merchandise and memorabilia. Browse for a whole range of motorsports products in all forms of motorsport. Take Formula 1 for example. There is a whole section dedicated to Formula 1 products, from your favourite drivers, cars, teams or tracks from all eras of Formula 1. There are more series available, including WRC if you are a rally fan. You can even search for your favourite form of motorsport to see what products they have in your favourite forms of motorsport. Or, if yourself are a retailer in motorsport, you could set up your own shop within the GP box to open up your products to a much bigger motorsport audience. Find out more at thegpbox.com.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Crest Autosport Next Gen Racing Euro TCR Tour. Round 6 coming to you live here from Brno circuit in Czechia, aka the Czech Republic. This series proudly sponsored by lovely stickers, PowerMax Racing, Track Racer, Fastar, 603 Autosport and Joyce Design. Tonight, as we mentioned, is the Brno circuit in southeast Czechia in the Vashice region of Czechia. I researched how to say that and I didn't get it right then, not getting it right now. I'll work on my Czech later on. But anyway, the Brno circuit, a legendary circuit in its own right. Mostly tailored towards motorbike racing, as it's hosted many MotoGP races over the years and has hosted the Czech Republic Motorbike Grand Prix since forever. But it has also hosted some legendary World Touring Car races, notably from 2006 to 2011. Not a simple track to drive, it's very, very wide and long sweeping corners. 14 turns to be precise, 8 to the right and 6 to the left, and it will cost you £4.30 on RaceRoom. Recently released on RaceRoom, so quite a popular track at the moment. This is the last race of the first half of the season. We'll be going for a week break next week, but we'll be back in 2 weeks from today for the start of the second half of the season. Round 7 will be coming to you from Silverstone. Then 1 week after that, it will be Spa-Francorchamps in Belgium. Zandvoort will take place for round 9 of the championship. Round 10 will be the Anderstorp Scandinavian Raceway. Round 11, the penultimate round at the Red Bull Ring, and Hockenheim Ring will be the final round of the championship on the 10th of August. We've had 2 races, both 15 minutes in length. This next race will be 25 minutes, and a bigger reverse grid of the top 15 finishers from race 2. Drivers out on track getting a little bit of practice, as we can see from our helicopter shot. Jonas Lindberg getting a little bit of practice. A good night for him. Well, a fairly good night for him so far. He's been picking up strong positions in the top 5, I believe. But the man of the night so far has been Simon Johnson, picking up 2 second-place finishes. The race wins coming so far from Eamon Hakim and Alex Foyle. Alex Foyle taking his first win of the season. He started off in Imola 2 weeks ago and hasn't had a top 3 finish until that race. He got 7th, 4th and 7th at Imola, 10th, 17th and a DNF at the Hungaroring. So been the shining light start of the season for Alex Foyle, but this race has been much, much better. So speaking of the grid, ready for race 3 of the night. first of all, we must go through the ballast that the drivers will carry. So the ballast, of course, is based on the qualifying results from earlier, as we mentioned earlier. So Eamon Hakeem will still carry 40 kilograms of ballast going into this final race. Simon Johnson, who's had 0 kilos until now, he'll now carry 36 kilos as he finished qualified second. Lee Horn will be on the same kilogram ballast that he was on early throughout the night, 32 kilos. Rostons with 28, and it goes down in increments of 4 until 10th place, where Heike Navalov is. And this will form the grid for the third race of tonight, which is based on the results of race 2, but the top 15 are reversed. So in 15th place in race 2, Roy Plummer will start on pole position, and alongside him will be Elliot House. Eamon Hakeem will start third with Lee Horn alongside. So pick one of those two out to be your favourite for this race win. It is very likely to be one of them too. 5th place will start Ollie Janssen. 6th place will start Ben Payne. 7th place will start Jurgen Madsby Pedersen. Jeff Burke starts in 8th position. Mark Arrowsmith will start 9th. What a night he's having so far. 10th place will start Jamie Dory, who we've seen throughout the night coming through the pack. Keep an eye on him. 11th will start Jonas Lindberg, with Fraser Roston starting in 12th. Ian Dean will start 13th. Simon Johnson, the man of the night, will start 14th. Let's see how far he can get through the order. And 15th will start Alex Foyle. 16th will start Petter Nystrom, with Alestasios Georgiadis in 17th. Heike Navalov will put himself on 18th on the grid, with Dan Elliott in 19th. So there is our grid for the final race of the night, which will start in approximately 40 to 1 minute 40 seconds time. As we mentioned earlier on, please do check out the description in our videos. Give us a like and subscribe as well, of course. But in the description of our videos, you can find various links to various websites that we host and are endorsed with. In particular, lovely stickers, where you will also find a discount code. You can get 10% off all lovely stickers products. Stickers that you can put onto your sim racing rims and wheelbases. Replicas of real life liveries such as Formula 1 cars, rally cars, GT cars and the like. Track Racer UK are also one of our sponsors, and you can get a 5% discount off any of their products via their website in our description. It's been quite a frantic night of racing, and I don't think it's going to get any calmer any soon. Coming up is race 3 of the night of the Crest Autosport RaceRoom Leagues in alliance with NXTGEN Racing. This is the Euro TCR round 6 at Brno Grand Prix Circuit. Thank you for coming along to the live streams tonight, whether you're watching on YouTube, Facebook or Twitch. My name is Alex Everett, your commentator tonight. This is the last race of the first half of the season. It'll be a week off next week, and we'll be back in 2 weeks' time for Silverstone. In the meantime, enjoy this final race of the first half of the season. Roy Plummer starts on pole position with Elliot House alongside. Lights are red. Away we go. Not a bad start from Elliot House on the inside, but Eamon Hakeem is in the Alfa Romeo there as we come down towards turn 1 now. Roy Plummer will lead going into turn 1. And that is Elliot House on the inside of Eamon Hakeem. Eamon Hakeem trying to get past the Audi very early on so he can set his sights on the leader and get himself a commanding lead. He won race 1, so he'll be looking for a double again tonight. In fact, he is in the lead. Roy Plummer lost out on the exit of turn 1, and that puts Eamon Hakeem right into the lead straight away. 3 wide coming into turn 3, with Lee Horn versus Elliot House there, and Lee Horn has to tuck back in behind. He got a bit too much on the curb there. Remains in 3rd place. Coming down the hill. Of Ollie Janssen there, taking a look to Roy Plummer. Jonas Lindberg in 7th place there, runs a bit wide, and that is Jamie Dory, and Jeff Perkins trying to get up the inside.
Jonas Lindberg's got a lot of dirt on his tyres, so he'll be struggling for grip. Wheel-to-wheel contact between him and Jamie Dory coming around the corner there. Wide there goes Alex Foyle in the Lincoln Co. Lee Horn has taken second place from Elliot House, and up the inside trying to undercut is Roy Plummer, trying back on these drivers to get himself back in the top 3. He's alongside Elliot House as we come down towards turn 10. Still has the inside. Elliot House a bit wide there on the marbles, trying to keep it going. But Roy Plummer might have found his way past. Yes, he has. And Ollie Janssen will get himself into 4th position. Back here we've got Jürgen Matby-Pedersen, not being an ideal night for him, but he's on the charge. Up to 7th place at the moment. He's got Jamie Dory behind and Jonas Lindberg. Touch of the grass there from Lee Horn. He drops down the order. He's in 4th place now. He's the one who puffed up that puff of gravel on the inside there and has lost momentum. So that puts Roy Plummer back into 2nd place, but all this allows this man to break away at the front, as he usually has done most of the season. Eamon Hakeem leads to the end of lap 1. There's a spin back there. That looks like Ian Deeney. Yes, it's Ian Deeney. He spins off into the gravel, and that has lost him a lot of positions. Just noticed there's only 16 drivers in the server at the moment, so a few people haven't turned up to race 3. Hill. Elliot House trying ways to get by Ollie Janssen. Tries the undercut on Ollie Janssen. Bit of contact there, and the lift off from the Lincoln Co was evident there from the contact from the wheel of Elliot House, and now Jeff Perkins is trying the inside of Elliot House. House is trying to squeeze through the middle of them but can't quite make it. Horn gets himself back into 4th, and Perkins back into 5th place. Leading away at the front is Eamon Hakeem at the moment. Roy Plummer still in 2nd place. A good drive from him so far. We saw him start pole position, I think, for the Hungaroring as well 1 week ago. On board from Ollie Janssen. He'll look to the inside of Roy Plummer. Will he be able to get later on the brakes? No, he won't. Roy Plummer outbrakes himself anyway. That allows Ollie Janssen to the inside and now the outside for turn 11. Horn is right behind in the yellow Audi. Round the outside goes Ollie Janssen. Oh, and that puts Roy Plummer all out of shape and will now be losing out to Lee Horn. Couldn't quite keep it on the inside of him. Coming up the hill here. Big trail of cars coming up the hill towards turn 13. Oh, Lee Horn's got to be careful running wide there. And he has found the inside of Roy Plummer. Does have a slow down to serve though. Oh, big battle back there. Jürgen Matby-Pedersen trying to get by Elliot House, as is Ben Payne. Quite get up the inside, and 2nd place finisher in races 1 and 2 Simon Johnson has progressed up to 11th so far. He's got a huge gaggle of cars in front of him, plenty of opportunities to make up places though. Keep a keen eye on him. One Jonas Lindberg guarding the inside from Jamie Dory, and a bit of a massive hit from the two of them there. Dory still hanging on to the outside, tucks back in behind Jonas Lindberg. I couldn't quite work out if he let him back through there. I'm not entirely sure. Flash of lights there from Jamie Dory. That usually means he's not impressed. Oh, right there goes Ben Payne. He was alongside Elliot House. Oh, he's come back in front of the traffic, and Navalov just about avoids him, as does Alex Foyle, and he's down to 15th place. How close Simon Johnson is to Elliot House here, and that is Jamie Dory trying to move on Jonas Lindberg. Coming down towards turn 10 now. No move yet from Jamie Dory. One of the most difficult people to pass on this roster of drivers is Jonas Lindberg. And that's the task that Jamie Dory has got in front of him right now. Ollie Jansen still in second place. Ollie Jansen has only had one top 3 finish this season. That was at Portimao, race 2. So it's been a while since he's been on the podium. So far, he's on track to get a second if he can keep it in front of the guys behind him here. House getting very wide. Coming out of turn 14. He has got Simon Johnson behind. Johnson with a big late brake going into the corner. And Elliot House not giving him any room on the inside, trying to get it back right away. Johnson makes it through. Up to 9th place he goes from 14th on the grid at the start of this race. Lee Horn hasn't found his way by Ollie Jansen yet. Lee Horn will be frustrated again. The opportunity to take on Eamon Hakim slipping away. It's happened a few times this season to Lee Horn. It does not help his championship bid every time that happens. But he's still picking up valuable points and more top 3 finishes, which he has done more than any other driver apart from Eamon Hakim this season. He's on 8 top 3 finishes. This will be number 9 if he can keep this up. Trying different lines to try and get a good run on Ollie Jansen coming out the corner. Jeff Perkins flashing his lights to say, hurry up, Lee. I want to get through. Fraser Rosson's warned excessively impeding track limits. Fraser's back there in 12th position at the moment. Simon Johnson back here. There's a bit of a battle going on between Elliot House, Petter Nystrom and Fraser Rostons. Elliot House looking to the inside of Simon Johnson. I think maybe the extra 36 kilos might be a little bit of a shock to Simon Johnson. Welcome to TCR Racing. We have raced in leagues where the ballast has been up as far as 70 kilos. Elliot House trying the inside of Simon Johnson there. Couldn't quite find the inside. Johnson's hanging on ahead of Elliot House, but he's also trying to find a way by Roy Plummer. Not yet by Ollie Jansen. Coming down towards turn 5 now. Jansen's doing a very, very good job to hang on to that position at the moment. Cars are building up behind. There's Horn, Perkis, Lindberg and Jamie Dory. 4 drivers you do not want to see in your mirror charging towards you. Big battle this for 9th, considered 8th. Oh, and Elliot House going a little bit wide through the corner there. Got Petter Nystrom. We haven't mentioned Petter Nystrom much tonight. Making a charge towards the top 10 in the number 1 Norbert Michelit's car. And we've got Fraser Rosson's taking a dive to his inside. We've also got Roy Plummer, who's just surrendered the position to Simon Johnson. No, he hasn't, but Fraser Rosson's gets through. Petter Nystrom batting back there with Heike and Navalov. Navalov wasn't able to get by. Johnson's back behind Roy Plummer, and Elliot House with a huge undercut on 2 drivers then. Sneaks himself into 8th place. Good move from Elliot House there, if we saw it right. Johnson ahead of Roy Plummer. So Roy Plummer's not giving up. Oh, there's a big lunge from Fraser Rostons, and Roy Plummer has come away very slowly indeed. That'll drop them down a few places. The pair of them, Fraser Austin's, might have realised, I've messed up there, and backed out of it. Bit of an uncharacteristic move from Fraser Austin's, but he let Roy Plummer have the position. What a big lunge from Simon Johnson. A bit of a slingshot move to the inside of turn 1. Elliot House not giving any room though. Look, guarding up front, Fraser Rostons. Taking to the outside of Rostons is Alex Foyle there. He takes to the outside, he'll try Navalov as well. He might have the inside on turn 4 from Navalov, but no he doesn't. But gets himself ahead of Fraser Rostons. That's one position, is what he needed. Alex Foyle did. He now joins this battle. Got Ian Deeney, he went wide earlier on in the race trying to get back involved, as is Ben Payne in the Volkswagen back there. On the inside. Big move from Fraser Rostons on Alex Foyle, and it didn't quite work there. Back with this battle at the top here, hasn't progressed much. Lee Horn can't quite yet find his way by Ollie Janssen. Janssen with quite a bit less ballast on the car, which will be helping him on this part of the track. Coming up the hill, having ballast on the car will affect you deeply there. Gravity is, well, can be an unfriendly foe. Off that final corner, will he be able to get a move to the inside? He's definitely not going to, not gaining anywhere near enough that he needs to be. Gone into turn 2 here. Eamon Akeem, we haven't mentioned him, it's just been a stellar performance yet again in this race. 6 seconds out in the lead. Navalov up to 10th place. It's been a bit of a disappointing night for Navalov. Pulled over in race 2. Didn't quite have a good qualifying session. I can't quite remember where he finished in race 1, but he's taken a move towards Petter Nystrom here. Oh, sideways there. Didn't quite work. Petter Nystrom closed the door, and Alex Foyle's now on the inside of the Swedish driver. Through he goes. So what Navalov was probably thinking, the move's on here, and he ends up losing position instead. Runs wide again there at turn 5. Has lost a bit of ground from Alex Foyle ahead. Johnson out on his own there, 8th place for him at the moment. Lee Horn real close to Ollie Janssen here. It'd be the downhill sections that having weight would be better. Still ahead, Lee Horn, a good run. But coming up the hill, the link just pulls away from the Audi. He's got to push doubly hard to try and keep up with the link. No moves yet from these drivers. Lee Horn sitting in the wings, just waiting behind them. Waiting for someone to pull the first move, presumably, because that tends to be what kicks off a lot of battling on this track, is when one person makes a move, it really bunches up the field. But maybe the time is now. With less than 10 minutes to go in the session, Lee Horn took a look, as did Lindberg on Perkis. It's a 5-way battle for second place. 4 different manufacturers in there. Jamie Dory initiates the first move by the looks of it, and through goes Jamie Dory. That was an astonishing move around the outside. Excellent stuff from Jamie Dory, and past Lindbergh he goes. He'll try straight away for Jeff Perkins. Maybe just sitting behind these drivers, saving his tyres. Oh, and just about hangs on to it. He might have the inside for the long left-hander. Perkins might have just about stayed in front. He blocks off Jamie Dory. Oh, and Jamie Dory gives a right nudge to Jeff Perkins there. Carries on anyway. Ooh. Oh, how will Jeff Perkins feel about that? Now Lindbergh is trying to make his way through. He does. Wow, Jeff Perkins might feel hard done by that. Was fourth, sorry, and the nudge has got him down to 6th now. Jürgen Masby-Pedersen back there in the Renault will be rubbing his hands, thinking, you guys carry on. That'll allow him to catch up. Leon still no way past the Lincoln Co. While the action unfolds behind him. Drop off a little bit from these two battling. They might be able to work together a little bit more to catch back up with this front two. I have to say, Ollie Janssen, quite like Alex Full in race 1, defending very, very well so far to keep his position. The only difference here is it's for 2nd rather than 1st. Jamie Dory has got himself into 4th. It's been a good comeback throughout the night for Jamie Dory. What could have been, actually, with him running towards the top end in practice, and he got a good qualifying session and didn't jump the start in race 1. Might have had a good night. Well, he's had a good night, might have had a better night is what I should say. He has got Lindbergh on his inside. Lindbergh with a big undercut coming out of turn 4. Dory will hang on desperately to the outside. Will he be able to hold this line around turn 6, or will Lindbergh just get in front? No, he won't. Jamie Dory has it covered this time. Well, Jeff Perkins took a little look to the inside of Lindbergh, but Lindbergh gets the undercut on Jamie Dory. You couldn't get slowed down enough. Presumably that's what happened, and Lindbergh will come back through, back into 4th place. Well, it took a few corners, but he made the move, and Perkins is now on the inside of Jamie Dory. Very sneaky move, and Dory gets himself back into 6th place. In just a couple of corners. Oh, and a big dive from Jeff Perkins there on the inside of Jonas Lindbergh. And they both go sideways. Perkins will take the corner and the position of 4th. They're dropping back a little bit from Lee Horn and Ollie Janssen. This battle for 4th is hottening up a little bit. Leon trying all different lines to try and get away by Ollie Janssen and Lindbergh and Dory very close to one another. Look at that, it could well be a 3 wide. Move out the way, building. Jamie Dory will take to the inside. Going into turn 1, it is 3 wide. Oh, and Jeff Perkins closes the door on Jamie Dory. 5th place is his. He managed to get by Jonas Lindbergh, but he couldn't quite slip it up the inside of Jeff Perkins. What will Jonas Lindbergh do? He'll take to the outside. But Jamie Dory's covering off the outside, and Perkins back up the inside and takes the move. 4th place is his. And it's not going to stop just yet. 4.5 minutes to go, and this battle is real hottened up. They weren't battling that much at the start of the race, presumably trying to save tyres. Jürgen Masby-Pedersen is back there, planning to join the battle, I presume. It's been a fairly difficult night for Jamie Dory and Jürgen Masby-Pedersen. This race is making up for it. We got Lee Horn here trying ways to get by Ollie Janssen. Hasn't made the move yet, but he really is considering it. Big undercut from Lee Horn. Was respectful there, but it didn't quite pull off. Trying to find the outside. Brakes much later, but will not be able to hang on to the outside. The Lincoln is very well suited, keeping it tight on the inside there, but a pretty decent undercut coming out of the corner from Lee Horn. Isn't able to make it. Not able to get the inside is Jamie Dory, the only Opel Astra in the field. First time we've seen one in the championship. Waving the flag for the German manufacturer, linked with Vauxhall. Jürgen Matby-Pedersen could well be joining the battle here for the final few laps of this race. Lindbergh trying the inside of Jamie Dory, not able to make it. And Jürgen Matby-Pedersen not wasting any time. Took a little look to the inside of Lindbergh there. Just before things get a little bit more feisty, every race we have a Driver of the Day award sponsored by Lovely Stickers. Don't get anything for it, you just get an award. Credentials, I suppose. I'm giving my Driver of the Day to Simon Johnson. First race in and in with a bang. Brilliant start to his campaign in the championship. Welcome to the championship to him, and what a welcome it's been for us to see him on the grid. Brilliant racing in race 1, brilliant racing in race 2. Very unfortunate to miss out on wins in both races, but he gets my Driver of the Day. The Driver of the Day award is done, but the driving of today is not done. We've still got lots of battling ahead here. There's Lee Horn up here in 3rd place, trying to make 2nd place on Ollie Hansen. We've got Jamie Dory right behind Jeff Perkis, and right behind Jamie is Jonas Lindbergh and Jürgen Matby-Pedersen. Let's first take a look to Lee Horn. He was real close to the rear of Ollie Hansen there, coming around the corner. Oh, and there's a big run there from Lee Horn. He will take to the outside of Ollie Hansen. That's the closest he's been to alongside, and he's still alongside for the next corner of turn 12. Through he goes. He finally makes the move. 11 laps later, Lee Horn takes 2nd place from Ollie Hansen. They're 10 seconds back from Eamon Hakim, and Ollie Hansen had much more power up this hill than down the straight. Was able to get back alongside. Jamie Dory running very, very wide onto the pit entrance there. That will give him a slowdown penalty, as we've seen all night. It's hottening up now between all these drivers as we start the final lap. Lindbergh will make his way past Jamie Dory, and Jamie Dory will lose out to Jürgen Matby-Pedersen. Horn is still in front of Ollie Hansen. Oh, and look at that. Lindbergh has got himself up the inside and past Jeff Perkis. Brilliant couple of corners from Lindbergh. Perkis will have to try again. Ollie Hansen has dropped to 3rd, still on the podium though, as we mentioned. Still picking up big points, still picking up a top 3 placing. Gets a little bit close. What was a battle for 2nd and 3rd and 4th to 7th now might be a huge battle for that 2nd place spot. Lee Horn has broken away from the Lincoln Co. a little bit on these last few corners. Through turn 7, Jeff Perkis trying late entries into the corner. Ollie Hansen runs a little bit wide there. Jonas Lindbergh is alongside. Jeff Perkis is alongside, and Ollie Hansen is getting a bit beaten up here by these drivers around him and drops to 4th place. Jonas Lindbergh gets back into 3rd place, and this was the same top 3 as it is right now as it was last week, except Lee Horn and Jonas Lindbergh will swap positions. That's Pedersen on the inside of Jeff Perkins, and he spins it. It didn't quite work. He tried the lunge up the inside, but the gamble didn't pay off. He'll drop to 7th. He must switch to this man now. Another 2 race wins. This is race win number 11. Granted, this one was a little easier than the others, but he does what he does. Ayman Hakim will take another win in the Crest Autosport RaceRoom Leagues in alliance with Next Gen Racing. A brilliant win. Number 12. Lee Horn will come through in 2nd place. He had to wait long for it, but he got it in the end. And Jonas Lindberg will come through in 3rd place. Ollie Hansen just crossed the line ahead of Jeff Purkis, but couldn't get that podium he wanted. 5th place for Jeff Purkis. Jamie Dory with a good comeback throughout the night, as was with Jürgen Masby Pedersen. Both finished 6th and 7th. Simon Johnson, our driver of the day, sponsored by Lovely Stickers, takes 8th. And I get Amal of 9th. Iadini rounding off the top 10. There are your classified results. Continuing on from 10th. Petter Nystrom takes 11th. Ben Payne 12th. Alex Ball takes 13th. He won race 2. Fraser Austin's 14th. Roy Plummer 15th. And Elliot House in 16th. Well, that has been round 6 of the championship of the Crest Autosport RaceRoom Leagues in alliance with Next Gen Racing. Round 6 of the championship is done and dusted, and we'll move on to the second half of the season in 2 weeks from today, where we'll be in the United Kingdom at the Silverstone circuit to restart the season, the second half of the season. Thank you very much for watching. Wherever you have been watching, give us a like and subscribe. Don't forget about those links and discount codes in the descriptions of these videos. We'll see you in 2 weeks' time for Silverstone. Thank you for watching. Good night.